Good evening and wishing you safety and health to all the people of the revolution. We'd like to welcome you back again from People's Go, a talk show program. My name is Thinzar Shunlei, and I'll be moderator for this session where we discuss about the solidarity of the revolutionaries. I am from the People's Go team. Today, we can say that we are over 120 days of revolution. As since then, there have been people of Myanmar fighting together in this resistance movement with the courage to show up despite the challenges and difficulty. People have been overcoming the long hard days as well. And this in this revolution, we have also seen something extraordinary, something that we had never seen before. Unprecedented ideological revolution is also going on, and this is something a spot have recognized, and this is something also our people are proving it on the ground. So during this time, one of the goals of the People's Go is to convince the soldiers, the rank and file who are serving for the security and the safety of the people of the nation to switch to their sides, to join the people, in this movement. We have been promoting the defection. According to the NUG data, over 13,000 soldiers have joined the movement. And during the Water Festival in April, we have also seen a higher percentage of defectors who have the courage to join the side of the people. The soldiers come from the people. The soldiers' families also come from the people of Myanmar, and they have been exploited into tools of killing their own people, killing their own families, so that because of the orders of the military generals. So it is important for has established and have a stronger the solidarity among the oppressed. Only then will be able to build unity, and these are the ideas and concepts that are increasingly spreading around among the population. When we say revolution, it is not just this spring revolution. In the past 70 years, many ethnic revolutionary organizations and that resist people have been resisting against the various military regimes for decades, literally. And at the same time, when we talk about about solidarity against the military hunter, we don't even have to mobilize people, but particularly people will join, people will went down into the streets to demonstrate peacefully against the military hunter. People are ready to get together and to bring together. They are sacrificing their lives, and that they're making their ultimate sacrifice. And that despite these sacrifices, how can still the military hunter be waging war forward? And what is prolonging this military dictatorship? It is the question that has been often raised by the generation of the revolution. We need to find answer to this question. We also need to identify what are the weaknesses in this revolution. We need to find what are the weaknesses that we are encountering. Only when we can discuss and highlight that we'll be able to build genuine solidarity and unity among the revolutionaries. So according to the topic towards the solidarity of the revolutionaries, we have invited several speakers to join us and to discuss the topic as well. That we also talk about how we can build unity. We talk about the pragmatic way of building unity last week and this week. Also, would like to welcome to all of you to try to participate in the discussion along with our speakers to find solutions. How can we build solidarity? So please feel free to use the link we have provided along with the streaming. Please, you can also join as well. That you don't know that the cameras are off and will not be able to see who you are or where you are joining from. So please feel secure to join us on the Zoom and participate in the discussion as well. First, I would like to introduce you to the speakers we have invited to this. So Salai is from the CNF, Chit National Front. We also have invited Maung from the Magway from Magway Strike Committee, and then the CDM officer Captain Glock. These three speakers will share about their experiences and their contributions to the revolution. We'll be listening to their perspective and their takes. So I would like to let's start with a round of introduction. May I invite first Salai to introduce himself. Good evening to you. Good evening. Can you give us a short introduction about yourself, CNF, and your current activities? First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Salai. I'm from the Chit National Front. I'm serving as a deputy general secretary too. I'm also the spokesperson of CNF. So CNF was established in 1988. No, after the 1988 uprising, it was established on the 20th of March. We have established the CNF to remove the military dictatorship and to establish a federal democracy, the political system that we want with the Federal Democracy Union, and also for the right to self-determination. So these are the purposes in which we have decided to take up weapons to fight for the revolution. So since the 20th of March in 1988, we have established with the Chin University students. It's been 35 years of armed revolution for us. We represent. We are the only organization of the Chin ethnics. So that's how I would like to introduce our CNF, Chin National Front. Thank you. So CNF also have been in the revolution for over 30 years. Can you also give us a brief update on the ground situation of the Chin state? Chin state, that after the to talk about Chin states after the revolution, we had signed an agreement with the NUG, and then we agreed to work together politically, militarily for the freedom of the country. In this revolution, as you all know, that we have over 100 the fighters from the CNF has sacrificed their life in this revolution so far. And CNF comes from our local members who come from the local area. We are fighting in the CNF. We are also collaborating with the other BDFs from the Magway region, and also from some of the other ethnic groups as well. That in Chin state for this year, we control nearly 70% out of the total territory. That SAC still only have their military their control in about 9 of the townships where they have a basis as well. There is ongoing conflict. Because of the ongoing conflict, we also have a lot of about 45,000 IDPs are in Mizoram across the border in India, and about 20,000 people are IDPs inside the country, and they are going through a very difficult life as a IDP. But despite the challenges, we are committed to the Spring Revolution, and we remain committed until the end to achieve the victory in this revolution. And people of Chin will be fighting alongside CNF in this revolution. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, because it is incredible that when we also hear about the revolution and the contribution of the Chin state is incredible. It literally gives me goosebumps to hear about this. So, and that is so inspiring. And also so we also said to hear about the tragedy you suffer as well. So now I would like to invite the next speaker, Go Chiwin Mao. Go Chiwin Mao is from the Magway Strike Committee. Can you introduce yourself?
ကျမတို့ internet line ကိုတိတ်အဆင်ပြေဘူးဖြစ်နေ
Mao is having some difficult internet connectivity issue. Mao, your internet is quite your internet might not be quite good. Can you still hear us? You're having connectivity issues. Might be a good idea to turn your video off to save the bandwidth. I think you're trying to do with the video, but maybe if we can save some bandwidth. Okay, he's trying to log back in again. Please bear with us.
ပညာခက်ခဲရှိပါတယ်เนาะဟုတ်ကဲ့ပါအဲ့ဆိုရင်ကိုချစ်မမောင်
So we will wait while Coach Chiwama is trying to connect. So I would like to invite Captain Glock. Captain Glock, CDM soldier Captain Glock, can you introduce yourself? When did you join the CDM movement and what you're doing now? Thank you. Good evening to all of you. My name is Glock. That I am so I was serving at the front. I was at a frontier military base in Chit State in October 2021. I joined the CDM movement. Right now, I'm in one of the liberated areas, and then I'm working on the CDM issues, and that I'm also working in collaboration with the NUG to contribute to the military affairs. Thank you. That is my short introduction. Thank you, Captain Glock. Coach Mao, are you okay now? Is your internet okay? Yeah, it's better now. Okay, great. We can hear you. So that so can you also introduce yourself as well as and about the Magway, the public strike committee, and your political journey and your participation to this revolution? Thank you. My name is Chit, and in this Spring Revolution, since the very beginning of the revolution, as I am from Magway region, I was born and raised in Magway. So since the very beginning of the revolution, I have started the strike committee as well as on the Pakle movement in Magway area. After that, not only in Magway area, Magway city, but also I also has been mobilizing other towns and villages in the Magway area to strengthen the CDM movement and also to be able to have better coordination among the strike committee. So that's what I have been consistently working on and doing that. On the 28th of February, then I was arrested by the military while I was in the strike committee, so that I and my colleagues have spent about 8 months in the prison of the Hunter. After I was released from the prison, then I went to the liberated area, and then and while I was in prison, there also have been changes in the revolution. Also, the momentum has happened. I was able to study about what has changed as well. So that after I was released, 1 month after my release, I was able to work together with other like from the farmers and trade unionists and workers, and then from the strike committees representative from different areas. So we were able to establish a Magway Public Strike Committee. We established that. After that, with all from the people from all also like from the Magway area. After that, we that for the security of the for the security of the Wadu. So we do a lot of we do paper strike as well as on the silent strike. We do many things to be able to add as well that the Magway the public strike committee is for the working hard for the eradication of the military dictatorship as well as on that and also for the democracy. We are also helping that we are also for the release of all the political prisoners. So that's what we are working on. In addition to that, as part of the but as part of it, part of our contribution to this as well, we also have established also that the small publishing publishing books as well, because as people school the moderator has mentioned, we are also working on raising awareness and that also the ideology. So we have we have a weekly data publication where we share to the people where we are trying to change the ideology as well. So this is something our publication is available both online and on the ground, and we are distributing to make sure that it reach the hands of the revolutionary or some of our revolutionary on the ground, and that so along so these are the responsibility that we are undertaking. So actually that our strike committee is not standing on its own. We are working in collaboration with other general strike committees. We are also a member of the general strike committees of Myanmar. So we are also working in a solidarity and a collaboration or solidation and a coordination with the other strike committee as well. In this revolution, we are doing what we can to contribute to the revolution, and we remain committed to our cause until the goal of a revolution is achieved. Thank you, Gochu Wimang, for joining us despite the difficulties of the internet and technology. Thank you for making the efforts to be able to participate in this today's talk show. Thank you very much indeed. So according to the title, we'll be talking about the solidarity of the revolutionaries. So that when we we invite the leaders, of different institutions, but again our talk show is also to be able to reflect, and that to reflect and invite the each and every one of the people's opinion, because it is important that people can exercise our own beliefs and that ideologies, and that reflection as well. It is important to have the space to be able to, for the each and every one of the citizens to speak up. It is important also for the leaders to come in to share. We also give this opportunity for our listeners to able to participate and join in as well. So we are always trying to send a dedicated time. So please make sure you use the link to join us and share your perspective and opinion too. So today, that so we will let's now go into the content of the today's talk show program. The question is very simple for us, the question we ask are the one that people are always asking themselves on every day as well, that in this revolution now, that is for the, if we look at the Spring Revolution, that it's been over 800 days of the revolution. It's been here over 2 years. That the SM revolution as well, that people have gone through a lot of hard times, and people also have given them a lot as well. And we have also seen the incredible that the cruelty and atrocities that the military has committed in different parts of Myanmar. We are always hearing the news about the atrocities that military are committed in different parts of the country, from Sakai Magway to to the Duma Pass. It is that we talk that to be able to defeat the military, we need to have a military alliance, and that it is important to have a solidarity, and it is also important for us to fight together, not only militarily. It is important to fight politically. It is also important to also to struggle ideologically as well, that it is important for all the fronts to be able to rally together. So the question is there a military alliance on the ground? What do you see as weaknesses on the ground? And that's what people want to know. So we like to start from this. So can you exchange on the topic? Thank you for the question. To respond to your question, I would like to answer like this. Firstly, the Spring Revolution. The wave of the Spring Revolution and the waves of the previous revolution, their weights are very different. Their influence are very different. This Spring Revolution that is something we have never expected, or although we have tried, there's something we have never achieved as well. We have incredible that we get the incredible support from the people, and that's something that the revolution organization have never been able to achieve. In a way, we can say that people have fulfilled their duties. It is important the Spring Revolution, that's one revolution, will need to be able to continue the fight to win it for the people who had done their part. It's been over 2 years of Spring Revolution, and that because of that we can say, you can say that 2 years of armed conflict in Myanmar had pushed the country into deeper difficulties and suffering. Right now, the Bulgar situation can no longer be resolved politically. It will need armed conflict to eradicate the military dictatorship, for the restoration and the building of the Federal Democratic Union. That's the goal that we are working for. That's what the ethnic organization have fought for, and this is in a way it is also our political objective and the cause that we believe in. So let's talk. That's what we can say. So your question is there a possibility to form a federal army or a military alliance among different groups in Myanmar? To respond to your question, we organizations have a policy that we already have this policy that we can achieve the military victory by forming alliance. We did have NTF, we did have UNSC in the past to form a military alliance that has in the past. Right now, that not all the organizations are involved, but we do have the military alliance, and that the different organizations are, the different organizations are fighting together on the ground. But that is and that we'll say that these efforts were not strong, and they last for a long time, because different organizations have different political backgrounds and different contexts, and for that reason, the military alliances have never been as successful. Secondly, there were also the issues that related to our neighboring countries that was in the past. But however, in this Spring Revolution, Spring Revolution has incredible support and participation from the people across Myanmar, and that revolution carries incredible weight, and that it is important to use this support, public support, to as a background to forge forward. Yes, I would say it is important to establish a military alliance. I believe that it will happen, because that will be the ultimate fight, not only for the SEC but also for us. If we cannot win, if we don't have such a military alliance, like a federal army, we don't have allied forces, that will not our future will be vague and will be unsure. But then we also ask question, what will be the objective of forming such allied forces? That will be a question that it is important that the formation of these allied forces, or this allied military alliance, will need commitment on that what we'll do and what we will do. It is also important to comply with the commitments that we agreed on it. That this Spring Revolution, revolution is a great opportunity for us, and we need to seize the opportunity. And that it is that in this, if we look at that. If we look at the 2 years of Spring Revolution, we can say that the EROs, the Ethnic Revolution Organization, participating in three approaches. So there are those organizations who are directly fighting in the Spring Revolution, getting involved in the Spring Revolution. They are fighting alongside energy. That's a one group of that. Some of them, some of them are going forward along the path of the Nationwide Ceasefire Agreement, or the NCA, which emerged under the 2008 Constitution. Then we also have the third group of EROs, which are from the northeastern part of the country. These are the M groups. These groups are in different categories. They are staying different approaches, but although we may share the common goal, that in terms of strategy, and that strategy and that tactic, we may be different. We are doing differently. But this Spring Revolution is important not only for our individual organization, but also for the future Federal Democracies Union. For that, it is important for all of us to fight together. It is important to do our part. It is important to play to our own strengths, so that we can remove the military dictators. Then only then we can reach the political goal that we have set out to achieve. Myanmar is a country of ethnic diversity. So, in a country of diversity, that to establish the Union of Myanmar, that the way that when we talk about the Union of Myanmar, we have different opinions, which vary quite drastically from the SAC, because we want the Union of Myanmar to be coming together, more like a confederation. Why that military want is as staying together as well, and that. Yes. So what we can say is that this union is not just established by the central force. It is a union that is built based on the Panong Agreement, and that understanding, it is different as well. And then there are also there were also weaknesses in terms of we're not being able to consolidate the unity of the ethnic organization. So that there are also weaknesses in terms of ammunition. Ammunition or the military technology. Doesn't matter what challenges are there. It is important to have a strong and have a strong and consistent allied forces. Even if not all the organization were joining, that we need to bring in people the organization who share the same political goal and same political objectives. It is important for us to, like PDF brothers from the central mainland area, will need to fight with us, like armed forces from the mountain areas, and that's how we need to fight together, and that's what is important.
တပ်ပေါင်းစုနဲ့အောင်ပွဲခံရမယ်ဆိုတဲ့
Thank you very much. And then when you answer that you have talked about the basis thinking, which is that it will be successful. So when I interview other people, other groups have also the same thinking.
မဟာမိတ်တပ်ပေါင်းစုကရည်ရွယ်ချက်
When you are talking about the alliance, then the perspective should be the same, the objective should be the same, and the promise should be the same, and everyone needs to have the same accountability and responsibility. So only then they can promise about that the alliance could kind of like get to a successful stage. And then even though you have a common objectives, there may be different strategies. And then you talked about the weaknesses, understanding of the federalism is not the same. And then like technical and also in terms of arms is that has been different. And you talked about your experience, and thank you very much. And then with regards to this, I would like to ask you another question. So when you are talking about the alliance, and then is this like what is the alliance the CNF is expecting? You talked about the same objectives, the promise, and then what kind of situation that you are expecting in Myanmar, for example, the NUCC, for example, we have this kind of this, and then we have the NUG government as well. At the same time, on the ground, there has been like the group, and then in some instances, we have the federal bodies, and then you have like 70% of control right now in Chin State. So in your opinion, what are the characteristics of the alliance that you are expecting to see? May I please know about this? So we have also time, and that this is the revolutionary period. And then after this period, there is going to be an interim period. And after this, we will have the new federal state. And then in this revolution period, we will have to kind of eliminate the military dictatorships, and then we will have to focus on the military issues. Only then we will be able to go forward to where we want to. For example, like things we need to independently do it in order to do administrative things, then we need to be strengthened in the military military ship. And then like without having your group, my group, it is not that we're not doing it at the moment, we are doing it. And then and UG and our ethnic armed groups, we have like C3C coordination, and then the military operation is being coordinated. And then in the political side also, we have the federal charter. And then the federal charter, the ethnic minorities, which have never, hello? We have lost the speaker. We have lost the speaker. Can anybody hear the speakers? We have lost the speaker. We talked about C3C, whether the public know about this. And then if you want to know about the C3C, then please ask questions directly to him when he is online again. So we have C3C, and then CNF is a part of it. And then NUG has also organized the C3C in order to have the military and then the political side together, and then Federal Democracy Charter FDC. And then he was talking about it, but then now he has been disconnected, and therefore we will kind of postpone it. And then only when he comes, then we'll continue on this conversation. And then we will carry on with our questions. And then let me invite Gochie Wimao. So right now, Siya has said that he talks about the military side, the challenges on the ground, and then when you are seeing this, and then when you are doing this revolution, in order to eliminate the military dictatorship, what is the need, like the requirement for the corporations, like can it it is already achieved, or what are the needs still? Thank you very much for your question. So the necessary unity. So it has, frankly speaking, I would say that we have not reached the stage that we want to have. But then, Salai has said earlier, our revolution has so far achieved much more than what has we have come across. The momentum is huge, and then it is not the same as the past revolutions, and then it is more, we have more unity than the revolutions before. In order to eliminate the military dictatorships and build up a federal democracy state, the unity has not achieved so far to what we wanted. And then Salai talked about the military issues. It has to be balanced. Yes, and right now, our Spring Revolution is a concern for the whole country, for all our ethnicities at different levels and different forces. Everyone has to come across, all our people, all our comrades, and then we have sacrifices a lot as well. And then based on that, our unity, we have to reach to the stage. And it is very clear we are building the federal democracy, and then our unity, without having this, then we will not be able to carry on with this. The Federal Democracy Charter is also in place, and the Charter itself is that we have to implement the Charter. We have to be in compliance with it, and then to go further beyond this, and we need to build the unity, discussions, dialogues, and then like negotiation. If it is not there, then we'll not be able to reach to our aim and our destination. So in order to be balanced on military sides and political sides, so without thinking, and then you have the arms, it is a lot of disadvantages. There are lots of bad consequences. We talked about this earlier.
Hello. Hello, cô Chu Mỏ.
Hello, can you hear? So we have not heard the speakers. We have lost the speakers. Coach also has been disconnected. Coach has said earlier that if there are people who would like to ask questions, then you can go and then ask him directly as well. We have the Federal Democracy Charter. Through this revolution, it has been drafted and has been adopted, this charter. But then we cannot be satisfied only with this. And we need more than this. And then we talked about she talked about the military and political need to be in balance. So it is quite related. Is Sia here already? Sia Salai Tani, are you here already? Yes, I can hear you. Can you please ask the questions? As you got stopped earlier, and then you're talking about C3C, and then Federal Democracy Charter. You talked about your idea, and then you disconnected. That's why, can you please carry on? My question is that what kind of unity, what kind of alliance that you are expecting? This is my question. Thank you very much. And then when we talked about political problems right now, is that political problems, sometimes when we have to settle it with the military issues, I think that political problems have to be dealt with. The military is like the last form of it. And then right now, when are dealing with the military side and the political side, in order to reach to where we are, the military dictatorship has to be eradicated first. And this is our objective. Only when we have done, then we'll be able to build up our political objectives. And then these are our mission. So when we implement the militaryship, then in order to strengthen it, and then so within this Spring Revolution in Myanmar, political issues right now, we have, this is like equality in political issues. In like according to the federalism, this is like equality. Now the federal charter has it, like you said earlier, right? We need to have our self-determination. To what extent do we have it? So we have to talk about it. And then within this revolution, NUG and ethnic armed groups, we are in discussion. In this interim period, what are we going to do? And then what is the NUG government? It's like, is this in the long run or how? What kind of guarantee do they have? And then right now we want to eradicate the military dictatorships, and then either the NUG ourselves, Internet Armed Forces or PDF or us, we are fighting together the fightings. We are fighting them. And then at the same time, in order to achieve our we have to kind of like to implement it, and then even if it's not in the charter has to be practically believed, and then we need to go through this together and then have the mutual respect on this. So we have to push for this revolution. And then from the military side, like C3C, we have done so far. And then we have divided for military area and then go forward as much as we could. But then the military sides, in order to have political side, we need to have mutual trust. So our political problems are that from different governments, we have not achieved this. What we are in need of is that when we talked about the equality, ethnicities, and the Burmese majority, between them, there is like equality issues. So this has to be understood. The past have to be understood. We should not be going back to the past. We have experienced the past. We have those experiences within these 2 years of fightings. Without having the same background, we have suffered the same, like we know all our groups, what is happening with us, and then we have to refresh our memory and go and move on forward, having the new strategy, and then technical issues, and then we have to learn from our mistrust. And how are we going to go forward? I would like to honestly speak from this. Thank you very much. It is very important. And then like political guarantee, and then so like each of our citizens needs to understand that the political guarantee, and when political guarantee is given, mutual trust, respect, understanding, these are in the past, it has happened, and then we have a lot of scars from this, and equality issues, equality thinking, like there has to be a political guarantee, and only it can be implemented, then the alliance will last more and more. Otherwise, if we have like mistrust and distrust among ourselves, then like the trust would be destroyed anyway. So when you see K3C, you are talking about K3C, not C3C. Okay, so we have like the new wording, NUCC, NUGCRPH, and these are something we learn about it. And so can you please also explain about, I was talking about the C3C. Right now, the ethnic armed groups, 4 ethnic armed groups, and the NUG, we have the Central Command and Coordination. This is called C3C. K3C is that we have like, together with us, there is like Kachin Kareni KNU, K3, and then K3, and then CNF. So C3C with together with NUG, and we have like the military area. K3C is that we have like the 4 ethnic armed group together, K3C. So without having reached to the alliance, but then in this Spring Revolution, we will come together and fight for this. We want to talk about the military alliance for this. I hope that you understand now. So I have heard about these 2, and then like this is like a general knowledge for all of us, C3C, and then NUG plus, and with other command and control issues. So K3C, yes, we have learned about this not very long ago, Kachin, Kareni, KNU, and CNF, K3C, yes. So in this alliance who are fighting in the rain, and then together we come, and then with trust we started this alliance, and then yeah, thank you very much for sharing this. So Coach Wema, are you back to online? Coach Wema, are you back online? So Coach Wema, can you please also share what you are saying earlier? It is not just that we could be happy with the charter, and then it has to be military and political balances. What are the challenges? What are the weaknesses therein? So, like I said earlier, political side, we need to also so if you have the Federal Democracy Charter, and then without having, and then in the charter, so you have to have the implementation, and then there are activities, for example, like during the interim period, how are we going to go forward, this kind of arrangement, and then within the revolution period, for example, CDM roles and responsibility, and then how are we going to go forward, this kind of things. The connection has been interrupted. So in order to implement it and practically implement it, so the internet, the connection is kind of like quite interrupted.
Sorry. Hello. ဟုတ်တယ်ဟိုကကြာကြာပြောလိုက်တာနဲ့ချက်ချင်းဟို line อ่ะမကောင်းတော့ဘူးဖြစ်တာ
When you talk more and more and then the line has been interrupted a lot, can you please try like other or better Wi-Fi or connectivities? I will try. I will try. So I will try to, if you talk slowly, then we can hear. So we have the charter, and then it is not just enough. And then there are things that we have to do. There are things we have to comply with, and this needs to be done like continuously. And our needs, like democracy, there is no equality and no democracy. In order to overcome this problem, then so among us, we need to have so this is what we would like to talk to, and then like military issues, like for example Magway region. So for on the border, it's closer to Chin State, Magway, Gango district, and then therefore Chin revolutionary forces like so support for this area, and then like working on the Gango district, and then Bakoku district, and then in Magway region. These are the strongest and then the most effective area, and then western side of Ayeyarwady River, and which is closer to Rakhine area. It is closer to Rakhine AA, and then there are forces working together with the AA as well. So among these forces, there should be more unity, and then there should be more unity. Everyone knows about this, but then the needs for this in order to implement it in practice, like Salai has said, and then we should not have like we have to cut on our differences, and then to what extent we are going to work, and then how are we going to implement, in what way we need to have the discussions, and then we need to have it. So and then we also knows about this, and then after this, in just very recently, we have in Magway region, there is a force there, and then there is like a student and force, and then we have other groups, and in order to carry on with this, we are working forward as well. So this is encouraging as well. In this, how are we going to cooperate together? And then what are our resources, and how are we going to work together? And who is going to lead in which area? This kind of things needs to have a lot of preparation. This is about military as well as in the political side, the need. When we talked about and this, and then right now it's like in the military, we have a lot of efforts in the military, but then for us it's like to have a federal democracy state. So we have to have this also political side as well, and then from the political side we cannot ignore it too. So so I want to talk about this, and then at the same time in the military, in the medical field, we call it autoimmune disease. And then this is if something is attacking our body, our resistance are trying to protect it. But then this is like, it's not just it's not defending the outside, but then there is like a disease that we are fighting ourselves. And then we are not fighting the military dictators. Our resistance there, if it is like fighting ourselves, if it is autoimmune disease, and then fight, we have to be aware that we are not fighting with each other. And then so uh, so the thinking here is that not correct. And then so so we have to fight only the enemy and not ourselves. So among ourselves, there has been like misunderstanding, and we need to steer this, and then the needs, the requirement that needs to be also kind of like pointed out, and then this is our rights as well. And then when doing this, when pointing out these issues, we should not be autoimmune diseases, and then it's not that our fightings, it is in the interest of our people, and the revolution, coordination, dialogue has to be there in place. Like as everyone you know, in the in the previous days, there has been some issues, and then among ourselves. So this is the weaknesses. Therefore, so in order to have this unity, we will have to be aware of this and cure it ourselves. So like we need this kind of things, and only then we will be able to work on it. And therefore, what I am saying is that everyone in the revolution knows about this, feels about it, but then our feelings, our speeches, but then it has to be our practical, what we are doing. We are talking about unity, we are talking about alliances, but then if it is going in the air, disappearing in the air, our revolution will not be successful. That's why we need this. And then so autoimmune diseases, and then we have to be careful about it by doing this. And in order to have better unity in thinking, and then also I think we will be able to go to our destination so far. And then thank you very much. Because of the internet connectivity, and then what we have learned so far at the back is that each individual need to listen to. So right now we have listened to, and then if there are new issues, then we will have to share with our people. So and then so we cannot forget everything, and then we cannot kind of like we have to listen to, and then we have to have thick skin, and the revolution people has to have thick skin, and then you are fighting your the military dictatorship. If you are being pointed out, then if you make mistakes, you have to be brave enough, and then you have to revolutionize yourself first, and then we can only then talk about it. Ko Chiwe Maung said that um, so when we lastly, and then let me ask Google Knight, and then you are the CDM military personnel, and then when we are talking about unity here, we have like 60 million people in Myanmar, and at the same time, starting from independence, the military that was formed since then. So with the intention of fighting the rebels and trying to unite this whole country, and then fighting our ethnic brothers and sisters. It is not just now, but it's a long time. So we are interested in the vision of Myanmar military. And then until then, what is so they want to have the country on track on democracy. So the military has this kind of vision. So what is the unity seen by the military? So what is your opinion on let me kind of like
Thank you for the question. First of all, I would like to say that in your question, you asked what is, what is the unity, what is the solidarity within the within the terminal. I would say that solidarity or the unity is the lifeblood, not only of the terminal, not for any institution or organization. There is no unity, then we cannot achieve anything. So unity is essential. So in the military, that we also have we ensure there is a strong unity, and that unity also is that unity is maintained through the code of ethics. That is the code of conduct of the existing code of conduct. But while I was when I was serving in the military, and this existing code of ethics or the code of conduct, or we have to keep this little booklet of the existing code of conduct in our books, on our body every time. The book is in our pocket, but in our body, but it's not in our mind. It should be in our brain. It should be in our mind, and we should know each and every that the code of conduct to follow, and we need to respect them on the ground and comply with. And that's what is missing, and that's why the military is collapsing. That's why military is weakened as well. Military is weakened. It's not because of the coup. Even before the coup, the military is not doing well. Those, especially the light infantry forces, as well as on those who are the infantry battalions, they are not strong. The unity is greatly destabilized, because they are those who are serving, the Ragavai who are serving, they have been brainwashed. They have been in a way radicalized into thinking about the religion and ethnicity. So that instead of instead of looking at the reality and seeing that the other one pushes the country in the deeper state of crisis, but they consider themselves the saviors of the religion and the ethnicity. That military doesn't want the people to get united. That's what they are scared of. That they are afraid of the people will get united. They're afraid of the unity among the people. It is not that they fear the unity. Military is institution does not fear the unity. It's the military leadership who fear the unity, and that's why. And if we are seeing that what they have done in 1988, that's why at the same period, also the same presidency, they also have made sure there is no irreversibility in terms of legal action as well. That they don't want to. They want to make sure they will not be punished later on, because if they will be held accountable. Then all that they will lose, all they have acquired, the wealth, and that that the wealth that they have acquired could be impacted. That's why they make sure they want to remain in power. That's why they are afraid that people will get united and be strong in the resistance against them. So that's how I see it in this current revolution. The unity is how important. Do look at how important unity is in this current revolution. I think Siasantani made his point earlier when he responded to the question that we need to have that trust in each other. We also need to have equal rights. We need to have equality to get equal rights and to get straight. It is the negotiations and dialogues that are important. Only when we are talk to each other, that we'll be able to get an agreement. We'll be able to get this kind of respect as well. We have seen different revolution in the past. Still we have the 88, and if you were to analyze it and compare with the 2021, that with the major advantage of this revolution, we have have the people. People are supporting us. People are behind this political revolution, and the fact that we have garnered the support of the people means that we are able to withstand the difficulties, the fact that we are able to sustain it, we are able to remain resilient. So for unity, I would like to make 2 points. Firstly, in this revolution, it is important to develop empathy and compassion. Secondly, it is important to have a solidarity and unity. These two factors are essential for this revolution. I've always said that in different events where I get to speak as well. When we have empathy and when we have a solidarity, then it will bring us much closer to the goal, which will bring us closer to the much needed success as well. We have diversity, we have differences. It is important for us to remain united despite the diversity. That's how I would like to respond to your question. Thank you, Glock. Sorry about that. That so that so beg your pardon again. So the moderator has been calling you by different names. So Captain Glock, thank you. The point that you have made is about the unity, in the unity in how the military considers. For the unity is very important. It's considered as lifeblood, and it's always in the speeches of the military leaders. They always talk about the unity is extremely important to remain for the military to remain solid and strong. They always said is important. So that's how they can move forward as well. That it is important to be able to for them to move on to remain in control of the economy and all the business. It's also easier to command and control if when there is unity among the ranks as well. So that's in a way that also comes with the nature. But when we look at in the setting of the federal democracy, when we are in a different platform coming from the different contexts, we don't have like the blind like obedience like the military, that where it's more important to have like empathy, the compassion, that humanity, trust, and the respect, and that that valuing the diversity. That these are some of the values that Salai had mentioned. Only the solidarity based on this value will be sustainable. I think there is a major difference because unity is for military is in the military. Unity is more for obeying the orders, blindly, but it's different here. Yes, you're right. The way I see is that in some of the work that we do, sometimes we are also giving advice, and we are being consulted. What I also see is that in the past 2 years, we have seen from the revolutionary side, we have seen a lot of incredible progress. What we don't have yet from among the revolutionaries, what we still don't have, when they say like is the weakness is the solidarity, because that's that's something. If we can build a solidarity and empathy to the movement, then this revolution will definitely prevail. And that's that will come like shorter than sooner rather than later. So you're saying that it is important to think about the morality, that we are always on the higher moral ground, and it is important to be compassionate and be to value the humanity. Okay, my last question is, nowadays that the revolutionary forces are trying to build unity among each other. The military is always trying to divide us, that every day there are news and disinformation campaign trying to divide the revolutionary organizations. What will be your recommendation to counter the efforts of the military? That's my last question for you. Thank you. So military is trying to drive a wedge amount between us. That's not new. That has happened and in 62 and the Nehuen too. So how do we overcome that? How do we overcome these efforts to divide us? It's not that the EROs are not know about that. Sometimes people are now, maybe we are not taking care of it. We are not very taking much care, or we are not being prudent about it. It's important to be mindful about these possible divisions, and that it's important to be prepared. So I think the only way to overcome such efforts of the military to divide us apart is the strength of the unity. The strength of the unity alone will help overcome. Here, I would like to add one more point, that for us to have unity, what do we need? What do we need to respect? What should we do is something I would also like to share. First of all, when we say unity within an organization or within the revolution, to build unity, I think the following points I make will be very good recommendations. Firstly, it is important to practice empathy. So if I were to let it, so it would be like this. So it is important to practice empathy, because empathy or being compassionate towards the other. It is compassion is not just towards to other organizations. Having empathy and exercise empathy will help a lot when you are engaged with the other individuals or people from other organizations, because empathy is necessary. It's a necessary tool when you are building relations with other organizations. Secondly, when you're engaging with the people from different organizations, especially the criticism, it is important to practice active listening, especially from those from different organizations, especially when they are criticizing you. It is important to listen to their criticism. It is important to accept the criticism. That's the reality. They are criticizing you because there is something they need to criticize about. And it is important to take it and then to address it as well. Thirdly, it is important to respect the differences. In this revolution, as you all know, we have people from different ethnicities, from different contexts, and from different faiths and different religions, and we are all rallying together to bring our country from the brink of that collapse. So we are trying to eradicate that which is to be ingrained. It is important to respect each other's and to respect the diversity. And the fourth point is it is important to have honesty. It is important to communicate openly and honestly with each other, especially when you're trying to work together among different organizations. It is when we have a different organizations working together, if we're not communicating openly, we don't if you're not open about what you can or what you cannot do, or what you can accept, what you cannot, then you will not be able to build trust. So it is important to have an open and frank communication for that. And then fifthly, it is important to have collaboration. Collaboration is essential, and I don't have to that unpack that, because it is NUG. There's collaboration between NUG and the Revolution Organization, as well as on the the local defense forces on the ground. We are trying to find solutions. We are working toward six point I would like to make is that our actions and our words and so I would like to say that be mindful of their actions and their works as well, and that rather than just being thinking like that your leadership or your actions, I think everybody knows and following your active actions or what you are saying. So it is important to be mindful of this. Like the expression goes that the words sometimes the words can be stronger than swords. Also, I think it is important to be careful about what you say as well as about your action as well. And the last point I would like to make is to lead by examples. And then I've heard about that in some of the conferences given by the well-known authors, that as a leader, even if you cannot do anything else, it is important to be a role model for the others, to be a moral leader. That's extremely important. And these are the 7 points I think we need to do to build unity. Another point I would like to make is that what should we avoid when we are trying to build unity? I will also say there are also 6 points that we should avoid. So let's look at the don'ts about the solidarity. Firstly, do not discriminate others. So we should not encourage discrimination. It is important to not discriminate others. Secondly, that it is also important to stop hate speech. That we need to avoid spreading hate speech. Thirdly, it is important to engage. That it is important to do not engage with the acts of violence. But here I would like to say that in areas in central Myanmar, like Salai and Magway region, in the past, know that when these people join the forces to resist to join the resistance, to fight against it. But then again, once you have the weapons, you can also easily turn into yourself yourself perpetrating violence. You can also turn yourself into an autocrat, and that's something you can also turn yourself into. That's why to be careful about it. Do not engage in violence. And that next point is that do not ignore the perspective of others. Do not ignore the opinion of the other people. And that is very clear, and in a meeting or within an organization or when you engage with others, that you want other people to listen to you. You want other people to value your perspective, that it is also important for you to value the perspective of the other people. The fifth point is that is to avoid presumptions or stereotypes. That, it is that, we that the stereotypes or the prejudice, that it is important to break away from these from the stereotypes and prejudices. That it is important to able to analyze and take deep to be able to understand what really is happening. And the sixth point is do not blame others. Blaming others, individual, blaming other organization, that you are always right, your organization always right, and is pushing the blame onto others, and they are not doing as we do. That's why they should be blamed. No, we need to avoid that. That's what I would like to share from what I've learned, and that these are the do's and don'ts about building unity. That's what I would like to share in response to your question. So when we look at the effort of the military to drive a wedge among the revolutionary forces, we can look back on the history. Back in the days, back in the past, if even inside the, even in the those who are those, especially those who are serving, those who have been detained in the prison or detention, or even those who are the inmates in the prison, they are divided. They use different approaches as well. When Myanmar gained independence, shortly after General Aung San was assassinated, and he was assassinated because Clone Saw and those who had committed the assassination, they got because they were divided. They were pushed into that as well. If we go further down the history, and the Prime Minister Unu, also the political the APF also divided into two, and that was because of the divide caused by Ne Win. And then the Ne Win, and there were also, if we look at the Burmese Communist Party or the BCP, there was also the divide between the Kokon and Wa and all that. All these the fact of divide causing divide and causing wedges is that what I know is only organization which was able to withstand such efforts of the fixture or the divide is the Wa. They remain strong, and they support the revolution, and that they also are quite strong as well. And that even the EROs have to be ERO have to that look into to respect them for their unity and be able to withstand such efforts to divide others. So I think in short, I think it is important to be prudent, to be mindful of the potential, because the military will use this technology. It is important to prioritize. It is important to see that what is a priority, or what is consequential, and what is less important, and that it is also important to think about the military will use different approaches to convince and persuade others to cause divide as well. If you got that, if they got if you got convinced by the military or to work with them or to support them, in a way you're writing a very bad chapter of your history. So another thing is, people are very hot-blooded. They are quick to temper. They are emotional. They respond by emotion, and that's our tendency. So if you are mindful of your tendency to get frustrated and get angry and get hot temper and respond that this way, then we have to be mindful of our own behavior, and then we'll be able to manage as well. So thank you, Captain Glock, for your response. So your sharing is that it is important to start from the individual level. Like you say, it is important to build your own immunity, so that your immunity could be threatened. It could be by the soft way or the hard way. That it could be by the guns, the weapons, or use of force, or it could be by bribery, or something something you want. That it is important to for ourselves. It is important to build immunity for ourselves. And thank you for sharing, and they are all connected to the earlier points that one of the speakers made. For example, like to be able to communicate openly and transparently, it is necessary to build trust. It is also important to build solidarity, the unity. These are the important characteristics, the very basic characteristic of a good alliance building as well. So thank you to our speakers for talking about the questions and making recommendations, and the challenges as well. That because only when we know what the challenges we are facing, then we'll be able to find solution as well. So we have each and every one of the speakers have talked about what is important and the challenges as well. So that I also like to give a chance to our listener. If you, if I will be calling on you. If you have raised, please raise your hand if you want to ask question and answer. So now it's just time for Q&A. So if let me check into the question and answer. So I have so I think I see a message in the chat from Jatina Damaro. So Black Panther Army, do you want to, if you want to speak, please raise your hand. So he has said so that Black Panther Army has shared the point. So in the regions, there are armed forces based on the NUG and the COC, but there are also small local armed groups as well. At the same time, NUG also established a people administration body. So there are some frictions between existing local PDFs and the NUG PDFs and the public administrative bodies and other different forces. So that's a point he have raised. I think that was also mentioned by one of our speakers, that there could be frictions between the administrative body, political and military efforts as well. Yes, there can be frictions, but it is also important to be ensured there is a balance, because both political and military friends need to be balanced out. That it is also important to have a political consideration in this revolution. It's not only that the revolution is armed resistance, yes, but their political dialogue, political efforts are also equally important. But if you want to have a follow-up questions, or if you want to ask, feel free to raise your hand. Does the speaker wants to respond to this comment? If you do, please just raise your hand. If the speakers are not, I don't think speaker have raised their hand, so let me go to the next question. So that how can there be better solidarity between all actors? How can we have how can there be better coordination between all actors? I would like to give this question to Salai Tani. Could you respond to this question? This question that how can there be better solidarity or better coordination among all actors? You have mentioned about the C3C as well as on the K3C. So can you also comment on the, what kind of coordination should there be among the actors? Well, I don't want to give a long answer to this question. When we say solidarity, of course, everyone wants to have solidarity. But the main thing is, if there is no solidarity or lack of solidarity, it's because despite the fact that we have the common goal, however, the implementation approach varies. There are people, the means are different to achieve those goals. When people have used different approaches and different means to get to the common goal, that could be seen as lacking solidarity. But in reality, these are the differences between the strategies and tactics. That could also be because of the difficulties in setting such strategies and tactics.
I
think Salai Tani had lost internet connection. We cannot hear him anymore. Oh, can you hear me now? Oh, yes, you're back. Thank you. Please go ahead. In the Spring Revolution, one thing that really inspired me is that our political commitment, our political cause, that our political commitment is the same as that of the people. But that said, the mechanism of the revolution, how this revolution is being driven, it's we have different perspectives. We see things differently. That doesn't mean it's lack of solidarity. We call it as a lack of solidarity. I wouldn't agree to that. But better solidarity is is that of course there is a better solidarity if we are all together, if we are on the same page, moving in the same direction, that's the best, of course. But in carrying out our duties, it's important for each to play our role, for each to do our part. And if you're interfering the other's role, if you're interfering the other's part, if you're interfering and intervening, that's not good for the long time. So based on the experience of the Spring Revolution, in the NUG, you have Ministry of Defense in the NUG. So Ministry of Defense and the Commander-in-Chief had two different responsibilities. They are different entities. The Minister of Defense does not interfere in the military operations. Because that will weaken the ministry. Is the military operation, the one who is running the military leader or the one who is running the operations cannot interfere in the administration of the ministry, cannot interfere in the work of the Minister of Defense. So military operations or the military is in a way, it's very pure, it's very clear, it's very honest. It's like a clear, pure water. And if you have if there's something political, something political is dropping, it's like a bit of rubbish in the clear water that will not be good in the long run. So that will undermine the solidarity in the long run. If you look at what is happening in Salai region or Magway region, these are a lot of armed conflict. There are many armed organizations there. There are many armed groups there. And that's something we need to cure, something we need to solve. That the military should be handled by somebody who knows about the military operations. So those military operations should be handled by those with the military expertise. The military operations should be run by an army, should be run by a chief of army. Somebody who had the expertise, somebody who can train them. They need technology, they need the strategy. That it should be that Ministry of Defense should support so that the armed forces will be strong, so that they get the necessary training and strategy and tactics or the equipment. If not, if we cannot balance military and the politics, if you're pushing too hard on the military and without following the politics, then these military leaders will become warlords. And that if you're pushing too hard on the politics, and that military is not and the military side is not strong enough, then you'll never be able to build your own administrative mechanism. So it is important that politicians do their job, military leaders should do their own work. That if you are handling the military operations, then you need to have the military expertise to be able to handle the military operations. If you cannot overcome such challenges, and that's what military is doing. Military is doing, trying to trying to drive wedges to ensure they will be doing that consistently. They would not give up. They would try to divide this program. They would use both the soft approaches. They would use hard approaches. They would do whatever they can. They are doing it right now too. And it is important for us to be mindful of such dangers, that revolution, that we need to be prudent, we need to be conscious of this potential that divide as well. And our political leaders should not interfere in the military, because that will not bring us to a good result as well. And that if we look at what is happening in the north, that is that what we are facing in we have a parliamentary representative, that he is using his constituency like a pocket army, and they are using it. So that, then the parliamentarian turn into a warlord is something we have seen and experienced. It is important to make sure there are roles that you need to respect, and it is important to respect your job. It is to respect others people's job as well. You cannot intervene, you cannot interfere. If you do that, that will not be good for long run. That's how I would like to answer. Thank you for the question. So the point that you are making is that there is solidarity to an extent among the actors, and yet, but that said, it is also important to recognize our role, and it's also important to do our part and fulfill our duties, and not to interfere, and not to intervene in the others' responsibility as well. we call it the political play that new politicians often are considered of making political plays and manipulating or trying to interfere, and also depend on the individual politicians. And so it is important. I would say that it is also important to ensure there is honesty is also important as well. So there we have a question. So a question is that in this revolution, and that each and every one, and that it is important to have ethics as well. That it is important for the revolution that it is important to have a better moral grounds, better morality, and better code of conduct than the SAC that they are fighting against as well. Some of the the fact that when the so the point is that when the resistant fighters say that they want to do the same like the military has done to them. So how can the resistant fighter maintain a strict code of conduct without that the international community will see less difference between the military and the resistant movement? Because it is important, because the international community will start to see that what revolutionary fighters are the same as the military. That is highly concerning. So on that, regarding that, the fact that the resistant fighters need to have a higher moral ground, be seen better than the military. So on that point, may I invite Sia Chuen to respond to the question? How do we maintain their code of conduct? That is a very important point, because we also say this often. I came from the central Myanmar, so or Nyanda. So let me be very direct here. That if you are, since the military is often called by the people as a military dog. So if you are, that if you are if you see an errant dog, we cannot buy the dog. That if you're going to buy the dog, and you are the same as the dog. So it is important that if you are like trying to run that dog away, then you cannot you cannot lower yourself to that level and bite at him. So it is the same. I think in the military, if you're either in the resistance, or if you're in the political movement, or if you're in the public demonstration, it is important the movement that we need to stay loyal to the revolution. Our fight should be for the purpose of getting freedom for the people, not for any kind of vengeance. It is important to it should be our resistance movement should be based on higher moral grounds, should be based on empathy, should be on the humanity, should be based on the higher code of conduct as well. That even if those who are not in the armed resistance, and that it is also important to say that this is something I also heard, that this also I'd say to the EROs or to the local defense forces. And this is something I would say that the COC needs to be alive. The COC needs to be respected. The code of conduct is extremely important for us. That by that, if you, I think code of conduct is just like just giving a PowerPoint presentation. It's not just having a page with a code of conduct. Code of conduct need to be in a way. It should be valued. It should be understood, and it should also be that in a way they internalize and then respect it as well, because that is very important. What I see is that it is true in the Spring Revolution, especially in the Upper Myanmar areas, there are many different forces. Sorry, but we cannot hear the speaker very well. Can you hear me now? A little, but it's choppy. Sorry about that, because from my side, its internet connection is very hard, and I have to travel to this place to be at this level internet. So in short, I think code of conduct needs to be strong, then we need to ensure that it is mandatory, that people are following. We are also facing the issues of the non-compliance of the COC. For the whether if you when you are a freedom fighter, if you're a defense forces or whatever it is, so is a COC strongly that adopted by that? No, we still need to do more to ensure that we need to give them support. We also need to raise awareness. We also need to educate them to ensure the COC is adopted and it's being applied to. Okay, so like the point that has been raised by the participant, we need to strengthen our commitment, adherence to the COC, and that's something we are also working on. Thank you. Thank you for the point that it is important we need to adhere to the COC as it was as if that they are part of your apparel. That's something you're wearing every day. That if you are in the PDF or if you're in the armed resistance, there are new armed groups which have emerged in this revolution in 2021 or 2022, and that some of the freedom fighters who are young generation who have never heard about a gun, who have never held a gun in their life. So I'm sure there are a lot of needs. I think it is important to understand that, and that it is also important for the people, and that people will also need to keep pushing and keep raise the awareness about the COC as well as in other rules of engagement. It is important for all of us to fill up the need as well. So I also like to read a little about a few other points. I think so. One of the comment is that I support the points raised by this Yasline Tani, that it is important to able distinguish between military and the politics as well, and that it's not interconnected, but it is important to understand different roles that they play. It is also important to have a genuine and honest to have political honesty as well as on a genuine political will as well. Sometimes there could be also very superficial kind of will as well. It could also be rated by the interest as well. So what we want to say that it is important the political world need to be honest. The political world should be for the interests of the people, and that if there is a genuine political world, when there is a war, it's easy for the way to come as well. Because if there is a war, we can also change the ideology and the change the way of thought. From there, we'll also be able to do more as well. That the actions that come from the genuine political world, I think that even if people are pointing out that this is wrong, this is a mistake, and we'll have the courage to say, yes, I did it wrong, but let me rectify it as well. And it's important for the revolutionary, not just for the politicians, each and everyone who are participating in this revolution, you have this honesty and the will as well.
ဒီအပေါ်ယံသွေးစည်းညီညွတ်မှုမဟုတ်ဘဲနဲ့တကယ်စစ်မှန်တဲ့
So it is not superficial, and then it is kind of like in the long term. And therefore, today, thank you very much the speakers today who have shared, and then thank you to those who ask questions. And then lastly, let me have each speakers for this kind of like unity. Like just 2 minutes, like can you please share with other people here? Let me invite Salai at first. Yes. With regards to the unity, like I said earlier, the first point is that in this momentum is not like in Myanmar history before. The will of the people, it is kind of like we have all come here together like a referendum, and then in order to make it a successful one, so our alliances as well as those organizations and each individual have not been part of it to come together. And then we will have to push together. And then it is like our curriculum in our primary school. We have to push together, building our unity, continuing this momentum, and with our mutual respect, mutual understanding, trust, and forgot about our past pains, and then carry on with our fight. And then we have to be successful, and we have to push forward, and then this is what I would like to encourage about. Thank you very much for Sias Line Tani from CNF. And then next, Siakuchiwema, can you please also say some encouragement words to our audiences?
Hello. Line မကောင်းတော့နဲ့တူတယ်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ပါ
I think the connection has been bad right now. So, Glock, may I invite you, Glock? Thank you very much. So in order for our revolution to be successful, either military,
line ညာနဲ့တူတယ်အဲ့ဆိုရင်ကိုချင်းဝင်းမောင်ခဏစောင့်လိုက်မယ်နော်ကို Glock ခဏစောင့်ပါကိုချင်းဝင်းမောင်ဆက်ပြောပေးပါဦး
can you please wait for a while?
Hello ကြားရသေးOkay ကိုချင်းဝင်းမောင်စီက internet line အဆင်မပြေဖြစ်တော့ဖြစ်နိုင်ကျမတို့ချက်ထဲမှာဖြစ်ဖြစ်ရေးပေးမလားဟိုနောက်ဆုံးပြော
So can you please write it in the chat room what you would like to say? Glock, can you please carry on your comments? So like I said earlier, and when people are in the cities and work with the people, and then there are also people in the jungle who is like our ethnic minority together, we're working, and then like please have some like do not post like say your life being happy in town and then like do not post it on the social media as much as you want, and be a kind of like have some empathy. And we have learned about this then. So we talked about our alliances, our unity. We need to have this kind of unity among our organization, and in order to have it, so in order to have our success, then we have to build up our unity first. And so only when we have this unity, and then we are going to flow to the success. And therefore, ethnic minorities within the countries and everyone wants the democracy, and based in order to have the federalism amongst our ethnic minorities without having this doubts, and then build up our federalism together. And then I would like to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you. Kuchiwemao, can you hear me? Kuchiwemao is no longer online, and therefore so through these technical difficulties and challenges, I would like to respect and thank to our speakers today. And then in other coming discussions, I hope that you will be part of it. And then until now, thank you very much, every citizens here and our audience is being part of it through these difficulties. And we are going to discuss on this revolution, and hope to see you next week on Sunday in the evening at 7 p.m.